Hi, and good afternoon, and welcome. My name is the Emotions Doctor, and thank you so much, Paul. I must admit that I struggled to show up here today because the moment I announced that I wanted to have this conversation, I just became tired. And when I say tired, I felt, do I really have to do this? Why am I doing this? Thank you for buying the badge also. Do I really have to do this? Why am I doing this? Why am I giving this out for free? What's my business with teaching people for free? Like, why do I have to dress up and show up when I can just be under my duvet on my bed enjoying my life? Like, I struggled till about 20 minutes before this conversation. So this is a level of sacrifice, I must admit. I almost wanted to cancel. The only reason why I didn't cancel was I like to honor my word. It is your sound that is sounding somehow. My sound is very okay, please. Please, please, please. My sound is very okay. I am in Dallas. We don't have internet issues here, please. That's just me being naughty, but my sound is good. So, like I was saying, I struggled to show up. I really struggled to show up. I wanted to just keep being under my duvet on my bed, reading, strategizing, praying, just enjoying my life. The last thing I wanted to do was to show up, but here I am. And the reason why I am here is that I just decided to be here. Thank you for loving my hair. Thank you for confirming that the sound is audible. Thank you for the appreciation, everyone. So I'm here, and it's a sign of love. It's a sign of commitment. It's a sacrifice. How is my holiday coming along? I'm happy. I am at peace, spending time with the people that I love, talking to the people that I love, eating what I like to eat, and taking it one day at a time. My life is pretty simple and classy. So my life is just what it should be. I don't force over what is not. So I'm just here enjoying my life under the supervision of my creator. So thank you so much, all of you, for showing up. Like I said, if I had my way, I would not be here, not because I don't appreciate you, but I just got to that point where I just felt you give too much value for free. What are you doing on Instagram Live? What's your business with helping people process emotional and sexual abuse? Like, what the heck? Permit me to say that. What the heck is your business? So I am here doing this, and I'm doing this because I want to. There's an option to cancel, but I chose not to cancel because I would like to honor my word at this time. Maybe some other time I may cancel, but today, the 27th of December, I am choosing to honor my word. So I'm doing this from my soul. And it's also going to be the final IG live session in 2022. So thank you so much for showing up. May I know what part of the world you are experiencing this conversation from, please? What part of the world are you listening to me from? Please let me know what part of the world you're listening to me from. Today is the final IG live in 2022. What part of the world are you listening to me from? I am in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, Dallas, Texas. USA, so where are you? So Senator Lawal is in the UK, Empress is in England. Thank you. So we have 2 countries. Nigeria is in the house. We have 3 countries. Atlanta under the US. So we're cool. We have 3 countries. London is here, 3 countries. UK is here in the house, 3 countries. Canada is in the house. Ontario, 4 countries. Where are you experiencing this from? Lagos, Nigeria, 4 countries. England is in the house, 4 countries. I know there are also people from across the world. Where are you? France is in the house. Good. 5 countries. Who else? Where are you experiencing this conversation from? Where are you tuning in from? Where are you listening from? Nigeria, 5 countries in the house. 5 countries. How many more countries are represented? Let's talk. Where are you listening to this conversation from, please? Where are you tuning in from? Where are you enjoying my beautiful voice and face from? Thank you. 5 countries. Where else? Where are all my people? There's the island of, there's one isle of something something. Where is North Pole? Ghana is in the house. That's country 6. Ghana is here. Mexico is here. Country 7. South Africa is here. 8. Good to see all of you. Larry, I didn't know you were in Mexico. Good to see you. South Africa is in the house. North Africa, 9. Good. So we have 9 countries. Where's the 10th country? And the conversation is about to start. Where is the 10th country? Country number 10, where are you? Country number 10, who is representing? Tanzania is country number 10. Who else? Canada is in the house already. Thank you. So there are 10 awesome countries listening and tuning, and thank you guys. Thank you. 10 beautiful countries, professionals around the world, mothers, fathers, friends, sisters, daughters, sons, husbands. Thank you so much. Today's conversation is titled How to Process Emotional and Sexual Abuse. And I will be talking from my experience. Oh, Larry is on vacation. I was wondering. I was like, I used to think you were either in the US or Canada or stuff. I know I've shipped something to you before. I can't remember where exactly. Germany's in the house. Interesting. That's the 11th country. How to process emotional and sexual abuse. All of you listening to me, are you in my tribe? Have you joined my tribe? Join my tribe in 2023. Send me a DM. It's just $500 for the entire 2023. We have what we call a family meeting virtually every month. So you can join from anywhere in the world, where we discuss the sound of money, the voice of money, where money is going, which is the direction of money, and bring in expert industry leaders to help us gain global relevance. In December, which happened to be the first meeting, we hosted Mr. Leke Order. You need to listen to that recording. It will just put you on another pedestal for 2023. So if you haven't joined my tribe, just send me a DM. It's $500 for the entire year. It covers from January to December, and we meet virtually every month. And we have a WhatsApp group where we share everything that will help us increase our personal and global influence. Interested, send me a DM, $500. You will join my tribe for the entire 2023. And of course, you'll be networking with other professionals from other sweet and beautiful countries. You should be in my tribe. It gives you access to a lot of things. It gives you knowledge. It gives you network. If you want to relocate, my tribe would help you one way or the other, especially to the US. You want to relocate legally, get a work permit that can lead to a green card. It is, you will get the knowledge there. So, see you at the tribe. Let's talk about how to process emotional and sexual abuse. And as usual, I would use my story. If you can't afford it, it's cool. Just find where you can afford. Yeah, if you can afford it, it's cool. $500 is the least, fee that you would even pay to even hear my voice. So if you can afford it, not a problem at all. I am sure there are other communities or tribes that you can be a part of. And of course, once you can afford it, we'll be more than willing to welcome you. How to process emotional and sexual abuse. When I was young, I think between the ages of 9 and 10, a gentleman used to come to our house. He was a friend to a sibling. Yeah, so my brother's friend. And I remember that he used to touch me and do all of those things. And he always said to me not to tell anyone so that I wasn't going to die. And all of those things that would instill or install fear in you. And he got away with it because I was extremely scared. I couldn't say anything to anyone. And then by the time I finally said something, it was a matter of, why are you just talking after all these years and all of those things? And the first thing that I recognize for emotional and sexual abuse is the abuser will usually install or instill fear in you. They will come up with a series of stories. They will make you feel like whatever they're doing is what they're supposed to be doing because they care about you, because they love you, because of this, because of that. They will come up with all of those things. Most of the time, they're close to you, friends, neighbors, siblings, friends, cousins, uncles, aunties. And an abuser doesn't have a gender. An abuser may be a family member, it may be your step siblings, it may be your siblings, it may be your parents. I've seen mothers molest their sons, I've seen fathers molest their daughters, I've seen series of things. So an abuser can be anyone, but usually the first of all will gain your trust and pretend like they should be in your corner doing what they're doing. Then they come up with series of stories about why you must ensure that whatever is happening between both of you must be kept between both of you. So they come up with stories like death. They come up with different kind of gifts to keep buying your silence, buying your trust, and making you feel like whatever they're doing to you is one of the best things that can happen to you. So there's that phase. Merry Christmas, Mo. There's that phase. Then the second phase is that phase where you are attempting or you begin to try to speak up. Then it gets to that point where you're wondering, will I be trusted? Will they believe me? Will they say I'm lying? How will I open up? What will they say is going on? That time frame between when the abuse was perpetrated and when you finally summon the courage, the energy, and the confidence to speak up. Sometimes some of us spoke up and we weren't believed because they said it took a while, a long time. And then when you speak up and you are not trusted, what that does to you is that you don't receive any form of validation. When someone says, oh, why are you just speaking up? Or criticize how you actually even surrendered the details or surrendered the story or shared the story. They begin to poke holes in your story. Sometimes it even happens on social media. Someone comes out and mentions that maybe a leader, whether spiritual or national or family, whatever, if a child comes out to say, my brother molested me, people begin to resort to emotional blackmail to say, keep family stories within the family. Then they start selling the culture of silence. Don't disgrace your family, don't betray your family, don't come out to talk. There's that part. Then there's the part also where people speak and then it is tied to religious leaders, maybe pastors or imams or prophets or stuff. And then you begin to hear thank you for buying the badge, Olayemi. You begin to hear scripts around touch not the anointed and spiritual and emotional blackmail, like whoever is talking is also not a child of God or is not anointed. And then they begin to poke holes in the story. Now there's the emotional abuse, the verbal abuse, where at every point in time, every engagement you have with your custodian or people who were supposed to take care of you drains you. It takes away something from you. It fumigates your joy. It questions your essence. It doesn't make you feel good enough. People send you stinkers on phone, via text messages. They call you to insult you. Like, emotional abuse is tied to like verbal abuse, where every contact you have with people who are supposed to protect, provide, and profess their love to you are the ones stripping and shaming and blaming you. Whether your extended family or to your nuclear family, to your siblings, to your friends, to the aunties, to the uncles, to the spiritual leaders, the umbrella and the canopy of protection has holes in it. So instead of being protected, you are being shredded. Then the sexual abuse, you get to that point also where you move from silence to disgrace because of lack of trust and validation. Instead of moving from silence to trust, it then gets to silence to blame and to shame. And the irony is, while you are trying to tidy up and clean up your life and process the pain, sometimes they remind you of the pain. Sometimes you still live with some of them, or Some of them still have access to you one way one way or the other. I mean, your abusers, and then they never want to take responsibility. Instead, they are blackmailing you to forgive. So they begin to say things like, oh, it's been a while, you should forgive, you should have outgrown it, you should have moved on from it, you should have stopped talking or discussing it, you should have been able to process the pain like it's not a big deal. You know, all of those statements have the tendency to deepen the pain and then increase the misery, you know, and then the emotional blackmail tastes different. So how are we going to process emotional and sexual abuse? Like, if your abuser never takes responsibility, if they never apologize, if they never reach out to you to reconcile and request for restoration, if they never even admit or agree to the part that they played in your life, whether emotional or sexual abuse, how can you process it? How can you proceed with your life? And where will you go from here? The first thing is to understand that these humans may never understand your pain. They may never understand what happened to you, the effect of what happened to you, whether emotional or verbal. They may never be able to validate or even comprehend what you're trying to say. Now, I am aware how painful that is, because how can you pretend not to understand? How can you pretend not to comprehend? How can you just try and say that you really don't know what is going on, or how this emotional and sexual abuse has affected or is affecting this person? If you ever encounter someone who acts like they never understand, or claims not to understand, or pretend not to understand, it may be family members, it may be siblings, it may just be people close to you, because sincerely it is people, a good number of the abusers will be people close to you, people who have access to you, people who have gained your trust to a certain level where they now abused the trust and abused the emotional power they have or had over you. How can you move on from all of that? Now, this is not to attempt to underestimate the pain. This is to help you understand that probably a good number of people, let me just put it at a number. This is not tied to data. This is tied to the top of my head, where out of 10 abusers, maybe just 1 or 2 will take responsibility. If you ever find 2 out of 10, that's a miracle. If you ever find 2, there's a tendency you will not find. If you find 1, that's the finger of God. If you find 2, that's the maximum level of a miracle. Usually people will deny. The reason why they will deny is that they want to evade accountability, responsibility, and evade justice or punishment, or whatever you call it. They know the truth while they are sleeping every night. They are praying daily that you don't serve them disgrace, or you don't publish it on social media. But they know the truth, and they are trying not to be held responsible at any level for the truth. So you will most likely encounter denials, because an average human being will deny what they have done except they are caught in the act. Even in the act, there's a tendency they will want to flip it, except you show a video. Even when you show a video, they will say that it wasn't them. Technology altered the face or the voice or whatever it is. An average person will deny beyond and except you prove it beyond any reasonable doubt that it is them. So the first thing you would encounter is a denial. The second thing after the denial is the pain, because sometimes it is easier to process the pain when someone takes responsibility. But when nobody is taking responsibility and they are resorting to shame and blame, then there's a freaking problem. But how are we going to deal with all of these seasons of emotional and verbal abuse? What are we going to do differently? The first thing you're going to do differently is to have a conversation with yourself. And the questions tied to the conversation will be around, if this person never takes responsibility, what will I do? Because there's a tendency, 99% of the time, they will not take responsibility. So if they never take responsibility, will I choose to forgive, or will I choose to deal with them? When I say deal with them, I'm talking about justice. Will I choose to go after them, or will I choose to forgive? I don't know what I would tell you to do. It is your pain, it is your process, it is your reaction. So I can't suggest what to do to you because I don't know how you feel. Whatever you do is, however, your responsibility and how you are choosing to process the pain. Will you forgive? Will you choose justice? And another thing is that you are not compelled to forgive. What you must, however, do is to process the pain. Sometimes people sell forgiveness as a must. Forgiveness is not a must. Forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness is a decision. Forgiveness is not compulsory. And I'm sure that that is against what you usually would hear. You know, people make it look like, oh, forgive, forgive, forgive. It is a choice, a fantastic choice, a fantastic decision, a choice that most people will sell to you, will admonish you to engage, and will suggest to you. I will suggest forgiveness. But I've also come to understand that nothing in this world is a must. You can choose not to forgive them, and you can choose to move on. Both can coexist. And when I say you can choose not to forgive, it is not that you will hold them in unforgiveness. No. What that simply means is, I am choosing not to deal with this person. I am choosing not to recognize them at any level. And I'm choosing not to even process their existence. Because when you want to forgive, forgiveness goes through stages. You first of all will process their existence. You will process their pain, and then choose to move on from both of them. Now, I will always and most likely suggest forgiveness. But I've also come to understand that forgiveness happens in stages. Someone can decide not to process the abuser and not process the pain. And as they grow and develop, they start processing the abuser and processing the pain, meaning they start embarking on that journey of forgiveness. I've met someone before who met her husband's killers. So armed robbers showed up, busted into their house, shot the husband and stuff. And you know, spiritual people came and said, oh, forgive him, forgive him, forgive him. And she was so bitter. She chased all of them out of the house. She was cursing them. And I understood. The reason why the first statement that will come out of your mouth is forgive him is because it wasn't your father that was killed and it wasn't your husband that was killed. On a normal day, if it was your husband that was killed or your children's father, your reaction will most likely be different. And it is not a sign of unforgiveness. It just simply means she's not at that level yet, and it's okay. You can't force forgiveness on people. You can't emotionally blackmail people into forgiveness. They need to be ready to embark on that journey of forgiveness. Are we together? Talk to me. Is this making sense to us? Are we together? Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Talk to me, pretty people. I know that we have 12 countries in the house listening to me. and experiencing this conversation. Are we together, please? Where are the awesome people listening? I can see all the love stars. Thank you. Are we together? Just talk to me. Just say something in the chat room. Good. One person says something. Okay, we're together. Good. So I was talking about someone whose husband was murdered, and supposed Christians started screaming, oh, forgive him, God knows. And I said, this is not a time to evangelize forgiveness. This is a time to validate her pain. Let us stop forcing forgiveness on people. Yes, you want people to forgive. I want people to forgive. But we can't force forgiveness on people. We can't blackmail people into forgiveness. It is her right to feel what she is feeling at this particular time. They can't kill your husband and you are screaming forgiveness. No. I also remember when someone that I know discovered that one of her abusers, someone who sexually abused her, was down with an illness. And the first thing she did was to curse his life out. She said he would never recover, went ahead to curse and curse and curse, and then busted into tears. I didn't say a word. And while that was going on, there was somebody else there that started saying, oh, don't curse him. And I did like this. Now, I don't have an opinion on what she should do. Do I agree with her cursing? You know the truth, it's none of my business. I wasn't the one that he sexually abused, so I can't teach her how to react to her pain. And it doesn't mean that I agree with it, but it is not my right to disagree. I'm hoping that you understand what I'm saying, because this is deep. It is not a matter of, oh, you agreed to it, that's why you didn't tell her to keep quiet. No, it is a matter of, I am not the one that was sexually abused, so my opinion is not needed in her reaction. When she cursed, she proceeded to cry. When she was done, she took a sigh of relief, that means a deep breath, and went to take water. About a week after, she circled back and said, truthfully, I feel better. It has nothing to do with me. It's not a matter of, oh, she doesn't have to curse. God has forgiven me already. She should learn to forgive him. That is bullshit. You cannot teach people how to react to their pain or recover from their pain. Even as a professional, your responsibility is to guide them through the easiest route of discharge and evacuation. But people have a right to process their pain the way they want to process it. So today's conversation is tied around, after choosing to process the pain, are you going to choose forgiveness, or you are going to choose to move on without even thinking of them? How easy would that be? Neither of them is easy, but I think attempting to suppress the pain is more difficult. So what I would suggest as a professional is to process the pain. Have a meeting with yourself and ask yourself if they never reach out. Because some of these guys are no more. They are dead. If they never reach out, how will you move on? The ones that are still alive may never reach out. What will you do? Will you seek judgment? It's within your right to seek judgment. You can take it to the Lord. You can do what you want to do. I'm not here to tell you how to do it. You can do what you want to do. Or choose to forgive. If you choose to forgive, it is not a one-day activity. You will most likely remember them daily, and you will most likely have to forgive them daily. You will most likely remember them weekly. You will have to forgive them weekly. They may pop up in your brain every month. You will choose to forgive them monthly. It is not a one-day journey. Some of their impact or the effects of whatever happened to you may still be in your life. you may not, it might have affected your trust level with people, with your spouse, or people who say they like you or something. You just feel that they may take you back to what you felt when you felt it, how you felt it. It may also be at the level of vulnerability. You may not be as vulnerable as you should be with friends or family members or people you love because of the pain. It may affect your sexual life. It may affect how you parent. It may affect how you show up at work. It may affect everything that you do and how you show up in every way. How you show up in every way. Sometimes some people actually had children because of the rape or the sexual abuse. And that child reminds you of the experience every time. And it takes intentionality not to despise the child, not to hate the child. It takes intentionality to like the child, to support the child, and to love the child. Rwanda, I see you in the house, the 13th country, thank you. Now, at that level, you need a therapist, because that is some level of timeline therapy, and they need to dig out things and to walk you through a process that will help you professionally process that pain. Because that is another level of pain that you need to, first of all, comprehend and to say, this is the reality. Where do I go from here? You need a professional in your corner at that point. So emotional and sexual abuse run deep and will most likely affect your present. It is now how not to affect your future that you must take responsibility for, because it will show up in almost everything that you do. Your guards are permanently up. You are always at the survival level where you are protecting yourself. Your movement is always guiding. You never really trust people. You open your eyes in every engagement that you are having. And in every conversation, you don't particularly believe if people will honor what they say and how they say it. It shows up professionally, it shows up personally, it shows up in your relationship with God. Because how can God be faithful, yet he allowed that happen to you? How can God be loving, yet that happened to you? How can God be a protector, a provider, the omnipotent, omniscient, omni-everything, and he watched that happen to you? And then sometimes people now show up and say, oh, it was for his glory, all things work together for your good, all of these things. And you can't even reconcile it. Someone asked me a question yesterday and said, the lady that was murdered by the Nigerian police on Christmas Day, will I say it is the will of God? I said, I have no idea. Personally, I won't say so. I don't see God move in that direction. I just see wicked human beings taking advantage of people. I don't see God in that in any way. And the God that I know does not move anyhow. There's nothing godly. There's nothing spiritual. There's nothing close to the presence of God in that experience. That is the devil, and that is his chief of staff at the helm of affairs. So there's nothing that is bringing glory to God. Nobody's wife has to die. Nobody's mother has to die. Nobody's daughter has to die just because. So for that, I know that God doesn't move in that direction, and that's what it is. So will I say that what has happened to all of us is to the will of God? In all humility, I have no idea. I do not know the answer, but I know that God does not need some experiences and situations to deliver his message or deliver his purpose. Yeah, I know that the human beings and the devil hijacks, and by the time they hijack, What I know God does in that, despite the hijacking, he finds a way to recalibrate. But we cannot say that everything that happens on earth is by God. No, some of us are extremely wicked and mean, and we are employed by the devil. And God gives second chances to everybody. So it is only God that can answer some things blue, black, and white. I don't know if all of these situations are to bring glory to God or whatever that is. I have no idea. What I, however, know is that emotional and sexual abuse has the capacity to disturb our present, alter our present, and then also try to alter our future. So we have to process the pain. Trauma is not our fault, but healing is our responsibility. I'll say that again. Trauma is not our fault, but healing is our responsibility. Because some of the wicked perpetrators will never take responsibility. Some of them are no more, but we are here and we need to move on. So we have to take responsibility. Part of taking responsibility is paying professionals to be in our corner for therapy. And if you choose not to pay professionals to be in your corner for therapy, then you must offer yourself the therapy. Because we must get to that point where our life is free of the pain. We must get to that point where our life is light and lighter. What emotional pain does for us is that it stresses our immune system. There's a book that proves that about 93% of every disease is tied to emotional pain. Once you begin to carry emotional pain that breaks itself down into bitterness, unforgiveness, unhappiness, and sadness, it stresses your immune system. And that is the reason why people suggest forgiveness. When they say forgive, it is not necessarily forgive the perpetrator or the abuser. It is that you should process the entire situation and try to start feeling lighter and ensure that your life no longer revolves around the pain. So forgiveness is not for the perpetrator. Forgiveness is for your emotional health, your spiritual health, your financial health. Because emotional pain blocks a lot of energies. When you get to your office professionally to network and all of that, people may even see you as a temperamental, angry person, and they don't want to come near you. So it is even very difficult to recommend you, to refer people to you, to even want to help you prosper, because they don't see joy and happiness. Spiritually, you also can connect with whoever you worship the way you are supposed to connect, because you are suspecting your creator, and it's understandable. And then financially also, if people don't recommend you, if they don't refer you, how will you earn? So those are part of the reasons why we suggest forgiveness for your health, for your finances, for your spirituality, and so that you will also not transfer generational emotional pain, so that you don't snap at your children, you don't curse your children, you don't shout at your children, you don't freak out on your spouse, all of those things. So the whole idea of forgiveness is for your health, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, financial. That is the reason why forgiveness is one of the realities we must embrace. It is not easy. It takes a while. You have to do it daily. And it's okay to embark on the journey of forgiveness when you are ready to forgive. When you are ready to forgive. Everybody embarks on that journey when they are ready. Nobody can force you. When you're ready to forgive, you can start processing, and it is good to hire a therapist and have someone in your corner. Finally, it is also a fantastic time to start processing the pain, so that the more you process the pain, the more you reduce the power of the pain over you. And here is what I mean. As you process the pain, depending on whoever you worship or whoever you serve, it is okay to cry. It is also okay to mention the person's name. If you have the capacity to mention the person's name, to mention the person's name while you are crying and begin to say, I release you, I forgive you. And if you are not in the mood to mention the person's name, it's totally fine. You can mention your name instead. You can say that today, Oyinkansola, this no longer has power over you. I release this experience. I release this pain. As you are processing all of that, you are releasing the pain in batches. You are releasing the pain in liters. And you are reducing the power of that experience over you, because 2023 is in 3 or 4 days. And I wish above all things that you start processing this pain. But the first level is that internal conversation with yourself. Of course, you can hire a therapist, pay someone to help you with the process, and get someone at your budget or your level of stuff. You don't have to work with people like me. If you can't afford it, Google up options and get people at that level, or work with any of my team members. They charge 10% of what I charge, so it's easier for you to do that with them. But if you want to process this on your own, it's also very cool, but it will take a longer time. It will take some level of guidance, but you have to be intentional about releasing the pain. While you're having your bath under the shower, you can do the same experience where you're saying, I release this experience from my soul. I release this experience from my heart. I release this experience from my spirit. I know that this happened. I hate the fact that it happens. It's okay to cry, to weep, to wail. Anyhow you feel, it is okay. Some people actually have children from these experiences, and you see the child every day, and it takes a whole lot for you to even hug the child or be a part of the child's life, all of those things. I must admit that I do not know how you feel, but I know how you do not feel. I do not know how you feel at all, but I know how you do not feel. And part of it is the fact that I need to just plead with your soul that that child had no hand in it. The child was not aware. The child was not involved. The child was not informed. And the child had no hand in it. If children had choices, they will also choose how they want to show up in the world. So the child is here, and the child hates the idea that they are the effect of that experience, just in case they are aware. They hate the idea. They already feel unwanted. They feel despised. They feel like, how on earth can a whole me be the effect of wickedness and injustice and rape? So that child already has enough they are dealing with, just in case they have heard in one way or the other how they came. What we must do in all truthfulness and honesty is to provide support and love, but that love and support and validation and recognition will not come until you start to heal. You will not be able to shed the love that is in your heart on someone else. You will not be able to give love when you do not feel love, or you feel dirty, or you feel abandoned, or you feel used, or you feel despised. That is the reason why we must embark on this journey of emotional healing. Words tore us down, words stripped and shredded us, but we have to find a way to live above them. And in finding a way to live above them, we have to design our personal experience. 4 days to a new year is a fantastic time to start. Questions like, how do I feel emotionally? Why do I feel what I feel are starters. How do I feel mentally? Why do I feel what I feel are starters. When you find the answer and have written the answer, the next set of questions will be, what must I do differently to feel different? What are the things I'm going to start doing? What are the things I'm going to stop doing? What must change at the level of my belief system? So you can see that this is some level of deep work, and that's why professionals are needed. Therapy is not when things have spoiled or scattered or you are depressed. Therapy helps you excavate your past so that you can evacuate them, and so that your past is not affecting your future, because it is most likely affecting your present. If trauma is in you, it would affect your finance, it would affect your emotions, it would affect your sexual life, it would affect everything tied to your existence. That's the reason why we usually suggest therapy. It is not because we feel you are afflicted. It is just because we know that you are losing money and losing relationships, and you need to tidy up and fix up. So that's the gospel I brought to you today. Remember that I said that I struggled to show up. I just was feeling tired. I just felt, I don't need to be there. Please, 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 please. I'll put this again on my Instagram page for you to watch if you're just joining. Thank you so much to all the beautiful people that bought badges. Like I said, it's the final IG live session for 2022. I don't know when next I'm going to be here, but I have 274 videos on YouTube from every topic. I've said everything and anything. Can you ask questions? No. Questions attract invoices. You know, I can't teach for free and be feeding for free repeatedly. No. I'm a professional who gets paid for her job and her work. So this is what I want to give free of charge. If I have to respond to your questions, it has to be paid for. Answers are not free. Wisdom is not free. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining. Next time I will see you will be 2023. I do not know when, but thank you so much to all the 13 countries that showed up today at this Ivy Live session. I love you. I am rooting for you, and do have a prosperous 2023. I genuinely hope that you are interested in resolving these issues. These issues will mess you up. You'll be shocked at how your emotions are controlling your finances. Yeah. You'll be shocked at how your emotions are controlling your money. Anger issues control your money. Temperament or being temperamental control your money. The ability not to understand conflict resolution skills control your money. You know, all of those things, that this anyhowness, a lack of boundaries, entitlement, you know, it just controls your money. It is very easy to make money, and one of the ways to make money is emotional stability. Your head is correct. You do what you say you will do. You honor your word. You honor people. You appreciate people. It just resolves a number of things for you. Your relationship skills. It just helps you weed out some issues. So that is the reason why I'm evangelizing this, and I'm saying, please get a therapist. In the next 4 days, what are you going to do differently in 2023? Are you going to stumble into 2023? Are you going to say, you know, we'll just wing it? We move. You are moving anywhere. Check your finances. It's just on survival mode. When do you want to get to significance? When do you want to have more than enough and be able to? I told someone I had a seed account that every year my seed account has 8 digits in it. And the person was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. But ironically, I don't give people who ask me for money. God tells me the people to give money. So he mentions names to me. So my seed account is not for I'm dashing money out. No. My seed account is for God to mention names. God drops names, and I send them a DM and I send money to them. God drop he drops their names. And a good number of them have told me I needed house rent. I was crying and I was telling God. He drops their names. So nobody has ever asked me for money that I gave them. No soul has ever asked me. You can't ask me for money and I will give. No, because God doesn't work with me like that. He sends names to me. So people who give exist, that just give, and all of that, they exist, but he doesn't work with me like that. And I know. So once there's money, he instructs me on how to spend the money, and I honor his word. But you need to just put yourself at a better level, on a better pedestal to do more, and harvesting emotional and sexual abuse and trauma. Let me ask you a question really. What will your life be without this emotional and sexual trauma? What will you taste, feel, hear, and experience? What will you taste, feel, hear, and experience? Just try and imagine your life without this emotional and sexual abuse or trauma. Once you can have a glimpse of how you will feel, what you will taste, what you will experience, what you will hear, get a therapist to help you feel that feeling, taste what you want to taste, experience and hear what you want to hear. You will be shocked at how powerful you will become. You will be shocked at how that pain that was supposed to drown you can be a product. How that pain can turn everything around for you. How that pain can be power. It is so deep that if you use this pain, and I'm not underestimating the pain, no. I'm just saying that whatever craziness that showed up along the way, how are we going to deal with it in another way? So what will your life be without this emotional pain? What will you taste? What will you hear? What will you sense? What will you experience? That's the conversation you should be having now, 4 days to 2023, so that 2023 can taste better. It can feel better, and everything about you can have traction and speed, and you'll be available for global relevance. Thank you so much once again. To join my tribe for 2023, please send me a DM. It costs $500. It's not free. So just come and romance me in my tribe. Hell no. It costs $500 for January till December 2023. And we had our first meeting December this year with my mentor, Mr. Leke Order. So once you join, you will be furnished with the recording of the conversation with Mr. Leke Order. And then we already have our meeting dates for 2023 January. We have a WhatsApp group where conversations are shared virtually. It is just there. So it's $500 to join the tribe. You can send me a DM so that I would hook you up with the programs manager. I appreciate your time and your energy. Thank you to the 13 countries. Everybody that showed up, thank you. Do have a fantastic afternoon or evening, whatever it is in your country. I like you.